Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to talk about radical operations and composition. So let's start off easy. Function addition and subtraction. Find the resulting y value when two functions are added or subtracted. So there's two ways to write this. I could do f plus g of x. That does not mean f plus g times x. That's f plus g of x. Or I could write it as f of x plus g of x. This is really easy, so let's try some. If I tell you that f is 2x minus 7 and g is negative 5x plus 11, what's f plus g? Well, 2 plus negative 5 is negative 3x. 7 plus, or negative 7 plus 11 is 4. How about f of x minus g of x? Well, 2 minus negative 5 is 7x. Negative 7 minus 11 is negative 18. How about g minus f? Negative 5 minus 2 is negative 7x. 11 minus negative 7 is plus 18. How about g of 3 plus f of 3? Well, let's figure out what g of 3 is. G of 3, that's negative 15 plus 11 is negative 4. F of 3, 3 times 2 is 6, minus 7 is negative 1. Negative 4 plus negative 1 is negative 5. F minus g of 7. Well, let's figure out what f of 7 is. F of 7 is 14 minus 7, that's 7, minus g of 7, that's negative 35, that's negative 24, so minus a negative 24, that's positive 31. So addition and subtraction, pretty easy. Multiplying, that's when you just multiply the two functions. And you could say it's f of x times g of x, f of x times g of x, fg of x, f times g of x. Those are all ways to write it. So same two functions, f times g of x means to multiply these things out. So 2x minus 7, negative 5x plus 11. If you FOIL those, you get negative 10x squared. 22x plus 35x, so 22 and 35, 57x minus 77. And there you go. G times f of negative 3. Well, let's figure out what g of negative 3 is. If you plug in negative 3 here, you get 15 plus 11. 15 plus 11 is 26. If you plug in negative 3 here, you get negative 6 minus 7, you get negative 13. Ooh, 26 times negative 13. Well, thankfully I have a calculator because I can't do that in my head. That's negative 338. How about f of 2, g of 2? Well, f of 2 is negative 3. G of 2 is 1. I can do this one in my head. It's negative 3. So multiplying, not too bad. Dividing. Just put the top on the top and the bottom on bottom. But you must consider restrictions. What makes the bottom 0? So what does that mean? Let me show you. F of x divided by g of x. So I'm going to put f of x on top. And I'm going to put g of x on bottom. Now I can't cancel anything there. But I'm going to come off to the side here and do a little bit of work. The bottom cannot equal 0. You can't divide by 0. So let's solve this little problem out. Negative 5x can't equal negative 11. X cannot equal 11 fifths. So that's my problem with this restriction. X cannot equal 11 fifths. So for division problems, you have to include a restriction. The bottom can't equal 0. G over f of x. So negative 5x plus 11 over 2x minus 7. What can x not equal this time? Well, if you set the bottom equal to 0, you would get 7 halves. So negative 5x plus 11 over 2x minus 7. What's my restriction? X can't equal 7 halves. For the third one, I really don't have a restriction. F of 8. If I put 8 into F, I get 16 minus 7, I get 9. G of 8, I get negative 40, and plus 11 is negative 29. So negative 9 over 29. Addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. That leaves composition. That's when you put one function inside of another. It means the range of one function becomes the domain of the other, but that's math terms. Remember to work inside out when doing these problems. Put the inside or second function into the outside or first function. Here's the notation. You could do f of g of x, or you could do it f, open circle means composite g of x. F of g of x. Now what do I mean? I'm going to take the same two functions. F of g of x. This means take g, put it into f. So f is 2x minus 7. But I want to put g in, right where x was. What's g? Negative 5x plus 11. So now I put the g function into f. That's negative 10x plus 22 minus 7. That's negative 10x plus 15. That's f of g of x. What about the other way around? G of f of x. This says take f and plug it into g. Well, g is negative 5x plus 11, but I'm going to take the x out and put in 2x minus 7. Put in f. That's negative 10x plus 35 plus 11. That's negative 10x plus 46. What about f of x? Can I have something inside of itself? I sure can. F of x says 2x minus 7 minus 7. I put 2x minus 7 inside of 2x minus 7. So that's 4x minus 14 minus 7. That's 4x minus 21. What if there's numbers? Well, then we plug the numbers in working backwards. So I'm going to plug 2 into g. G of 2, that's negative 5 times 2 plus 11. That's negative 10 plus 11, that's 1. So the answer to the first part is 1. Now I'm going to take the 1 and plug it into f. F of 1, sorry. F of 1 is 2 times 1 minus 7. Answer, final answer, is negative 5. How about g of f of negative 3? I'm going to work backwards. F of negative 3, that's 2 times negative 3 minus 7 is negative 13. So the answer to the first part is negative 13. I'm going to plug that into g. G of negative 13 is negative 5 times negative 13 plus 11. That's 65, that's 76. How about f of 5? Well, I'm going to put 5 into f. F of 5 is 2 times 5 minus 7, which is 3. So the answer to the first part is 3. Now I'm going to take the 3 and plug it back into f. 2 times 3 minus 7 is negative 1. So f of 5 is negative 1. So that's composition. So today we did addition, subtraction, multiplication are pretty easy. Division is really easy. You just have to list a restriction. And then composition, putting one function inside of another. Have any questions? Come talk to me. Thanks, guys.